This is the Sales Playbook podcast. I'm Dave Panozzo. We're going to talk about sales. Sales is something that is very near and dear to me. I got into sales in 1993. And since then, I have learned so much over the years. And sales is something that is a unique trade that a lot of people don't know about. Sales is all ages. As long as you can walk and talk, you can always do sales. Whether you're young, whether you're old, it doesn't matter. Even if you're just starting out, sales is something that makes the world go around. There is no ceiling on how much money you can make in sales, and I want to unlock that on this podcast. So stay tuned. All right, here we are again at the Sales Playbook podcast. I got a great guest for you today, Joey Battista.
What's up,
dude?
buddy?
I'm so glad you're here.
Dude, I'm so happy you had me, man. This is an awesome little bonus round, man.
You like this?
Yeah, I love it,
When I asked you the other day, I'm like, hey, man, you want to come on podcast? You're like, let's go.
I'm like, I'm showing up and killing it, dude. I'm giving them something to watch. You know what I mean? Right?
You're even matching the background. You got a
That's
little purple. That's how you go.
On.
That's how you work it.
That's my style.
I love it. I love it. So I want to give the audience a little background on how we met, and then what the common denominator is, and then we're gonna let it rip.
Sounds
like
good.
I say we go unplugged here. Okay.
Let's do it.
Because again, I think this is what people want to hear is the real stuff. We're not gonna candy coat this. We're not gonna, play it safe. Let's just let it rip. Okay.
So you want to ruffle some feathers, make them feel a little bit uncomfortable?
I think we should. Just a little smidge in there. You know what I mean?
Just give a little peek behind the curtain, right?
Well, just a little peeky.
Yeah.
So we got introduced at an Andy Elliott event. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that. Because I got connected with those guys probably about a year or so ago. My life's completely changed. Different mindset for sure. Trying to keep it right and tight in my old age.
Dude, you're killing it.
Thank you. And
every time I see you, I'm like, damn, that guy looks good.
Come on, man. Come on. We got.
I just want to reach over.
And so now here we are, talking. I want fill our audience in a little bit about how you came in and how we met, and we'll take it from there.
So I'll start with my relationship with Andy, like how that started off.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that, and then how we met from there?
Why not?
Okay. So basically, it was December of 23, and I was like, hey, you know what? We had been deciding, hey, we want to build a brand. We want to get into this space, and we were trying to find somebody that we aligned with. And we had looked at, a couple other people, and we just saw Andy, right? We kept seeing his stuff, and his message was good. It was already the values that we already had, right? We already had Andy's values, and we were looking for, a place, a community, a tribe, a brotherhood, right? Where people were like-minded and valued the same values, right? So you didn't have to be alienated for them or, held against you for them, right? So I think that was there. And that was kind of where the journey was. So we went to Andy, and we had, we said, hey, you know what? Andy's emerging, right? Andy's blowing up like a rocket right now. So we were like, hey, this guy, if we can get close to him, that's what we're going to do. So literally, and this is, we went and spent, I think it was December. My brother comes to me, he's like, hey, man, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with these guys? And I was like, just wire them the money, man. He's like, you don't want to go meet them beforehand? We're giving them like $300,000. I was like, listen, man, it is what it is. I said, worst case scenario, we'll write it off on our taxes. I said, but right now, I said, these guys, they're doing it. We got to let them know we're different, right? We got to be the guys that sent $300,000 before we met them, right? So that's what we did. We came in there, boom, we met them. And then it just ended up being way more than what, because you're always kind of, apprehensive, right? Like, rightfully so, right? Especially with those dollar amounts of money and everything. But we got there, and it was so much more. And then obviously I was lucky to be one of the first members of the Brotherhood along with you, right? And then I came in and we just started meeting people that were there, you know what I mean? And then obviously we had the Brotherhood event at Andy's house, and then we had the other events at the other place. And then that was kind of boom, and here we are, right? Sitting here doing a podcast, dude. What a good life, right?
And then, I saw you in the room the other day, and it's funny, and we were talking about this in the car on the way down. It's like, you start circling around with the same people and the same mindset, you feel pretty invincible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You feel invincible.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like there's nothing you can't do.
Well, you're living on your good side, right? Like
Correct.
you're living within your strengths at that point, right?
100%. And then we all go back to where we're from or whatever the case. We go back to the office, you go back home. And then it's like all these people around you, you see it. You see the negative, talking, or you see the people that don't believe in themselves. And that's what's sad. Because they have it too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're just not open to it. They're not ready for that next. They don't think they can do it. And that's what people don't realize is that when you surround yourself with the right people, oh my God.
Well, I think it's just the opposite. I think to your point, I think what happens is I think it's a superpower. I think we're fortunate, we're blessed, right, to be at the point in our lives to where we can take the experience that we've had and we can go in and we can reflect in a way that we can be accountable to ourselves and aware, right? Because I think a lot of people, they just put themselves in a life of hell because they can never get out of their own way in those beliefs, right?
We can actually help those people too.
Beyond help them, right? I mean, that's, and I think that's kind of why we're on similar paths and where, we struck up good conversation and got here today is the fact that it's not even that we can, I feel compelled, like, when you go in after you went through what you said, like after you were alone in the universe and then you find a tribe of like-minded people and then you have this value that you can give the world, your glass becomes overflowing in the aspect of you just want to give value because it's so easy for you because you've developed all these things to your point,
And then it's like, well, what else can we do? It's like, what else? It's like
that sounds like a good idea.
It's like, what else?
Well, I mean, when you put these people in a room, dude, I mean, this is a really good point. To your point is one of the reasons why I got into this space was because you can meet men or women of high character and being like, hey, you know what? Let's collaborate. Let's partner. Let's do some revenue share. Right? Like, it's very matter of fact. It's not like, well, we'll do it, 2029 and we'll do this. It's like, hey,
let's go now.
We met on Thursday, we cut a deal on the next Friday and we're rolling and hey, it didn't work out, but we became friends in the process and now we're on to the next deal we're going to try.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think people don't realize we'll sit there and armchair quarterback, whatever it is. I mean, think about the older ways that you've done things. It's like, well, let's make sure let's get the calculator out. We'll get the 10 key out. See, 10 key? We'll talk about that in a minute. But you start calculating, the risk and just go for it. What's the worst case that'll happen? You spend some money, it doesn't work out, no one's going to die. You just do it. Check this out. Now, last week, I was introduced to this young kid, 22 years old, working in Texas. He's looking for a new career start. He's looking to be a part of something that we can build. I had a conversation with him. It lasted about 45 minutes. At about 42 minutes, I Venmo'd him money for an airplane ticket. He came out the next day, 22 years old. We worked all week together just as a little test run. He actually left a couple days early to fly back this morning, and he's already driving out here from Texas. That's speed.
Real nice young man. I met him the other
God.
day. Yeah, really nice young man. But you know what? Can I tell you something? When people come in and they talk about, millennial or whatever title you want to give anybody, I can tell you this right now. This is what I believe, right? And this is where the opportunity lies for guys like you and me, right? I believe that we have the what is entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneur is about making money, a lot of money on your terms.
Yep.
You pave your own way. You deal with what you want to. You don't like it, you throw it out.
Right.
Right.
You move on.
You pave your own way, right? Sure, you eat some mud and you do what you got to do.
That's part of the process.
Right? But people are saying everything, but the entrepreneurs today are the best entrepreneurs that ever lived in the world thus far, and let me tell you why. They're making more money for doing less work on their terms. And we're going to go ahead and say that they achieved entrepreneurship at the highest level And now they're going to go ahead and say, hey, pass judgment on them for X, Y, Z. My thing is this. I'm not going to pass judgment. Now, here's the thing. One thing I know from being a millionaire and broke and being a millionaire again is that they will screw up.
Yeah.
They will need help
Yeah.
in this journey right now. And nobody's better equipped than guys like you or me that have the wisdom and can go in there and do it. So the way I see it, at the same point in time, you and I are in a very unique bucket in the aspect. Look at a lot of people our age who are completely closed-minded and closed out to the fact of actually building a brand. They're like,
right.
Well, what do you mean? I mean, I don't know. Apple? You think the brand? Yeah, they got cool products. The brand, I don't know. Any brand you think of, a brand pays you like literally. They have Tide dry cleaners. You want to go to the Tide dry cleaners? Like a brand that becomes so well burst at everything at the seams. So I think that we're in a really good bucket because we're still forward thinkers, even for guys that are our age and where we're at in our career. So where I think the biggest opportunity lies is for that wise, forward-thinking, open entrepreneur to go help the greatest entrepreneurs that ever lived as a guide on their journey, right?
100%.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where and I also think that how about inadvertently, yeah, we'll make a lot of money. That's cool. But how about we'll have a lot of fun? And then here's the last piece, right? So we always are coaching and developing and managing people when we're in business. And we're paying them and it's a big project. They resist you, right? They resist you. They don't do the trainings. They don't make the calls. They don't follow up with the customers. They don't give the customer service. It's a never-ending tug of war. But now we're in a situation where we can help the best entrepreneur on earth have the most fun we ever had, share all our knowledge at the highest level, and at the same point in time, now they're going to pay us instead of us paying them, right? So that's the fun piece.
Well, and again, like you said, wisdom. See, wisdom only came from the old guys. Now we're a little bit older. I get it now. You know what I mean? Because we had to go through what we went through to get to this point in our life. The ups and downs, the struggles, we're both sober, okay? Yeah. Like lifestyle changes that created who we are today. And I think what happens is part of the younger generation, now I'm seeing a different flip-flop of the younger generation. Like there are some badasses out there. A lot of people shit on the younger generation. Listen, I'm seeing it out there. I'm excited of what's around the corner. But a lot of them also in that early 20s to mid-30s, they've never struggled. They've been coddled. They haven't had any failures yet. And so by the time they get to me and I get on them, hey, Joey, why didn't you do your follow-up? They fall apart because no one's ever talked to them that way, even their parents. And it's a crazy cycle.
No, it's a vicious. I mean, it's a vicious cycle we're in.
You know, can we help them? Absolutely. Are they? As long as someone is coachable, you can pretty much do just about anything.
Yeah, and I think, and that's really one of the things that I got better at is now there's like, I look for character when I'm coaching somebody or I'm getting into a business relationship with somebody, I look for characteristic traits that I know if they take 10 years or longer to maybe be cured. Because I've been coaching people for so long, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're 10 years behind. Mm-hmm. I don't have 10 years to give you. But it's fine. You can come see me when you get that gap closed, and it's fine. I'll meet you where you are.
Sure.
But this just isn't working right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes they you know, I always say, you have to bring the energy and effort is on you. Yeah. I'll help you out with everything else. So then that way, later on, when a conversation comes up, and I'm like, hey, where's your energy at? Level, or where's your effort level? And they're like, well, it's about 70%. Whoa. What are we doing here? See, I would have lied. If someone asked me, well, it's 100%, man. These guys don't even lie about it.
No, they make you feel bad for asking 80 from them, right? And that goes back to how we met and why it's there. But you know what the thing is, I will tell you, is that that's back to the brand, right? So I think that as you get your message out, as we do podcasts like these, I think there's a people that are lost.
Yes.
That know that when they hear these words, they're like, wow, that makes me feel good. I like the way I feel. And they're going to gravitate towards this. So I think those same great people are out there and available right now.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I just think that we kind of we're fortunate enough to be able to take the road. And look, we made a couple dollars, so we're fortunate enough to be able to spend money building a brand, doing podcasts, building content, and getting the message out, right? But I think it's really important that people realize that all the work that goes in behind doing this, and then how actually driven you have to be to want to help people or want to make a positive difference in order to be able to do it. Because look, I mean, it's like, they're like, hey, some B-roll, what the fuck is B-roll? You know what I mean? Now I'm a B-roll master.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See,
right?
what people didn't see was you were like, hey, man, let's get some B-roll.
Yeah, you're like, come on, man, we need to get our stories together for the day, man. You know what I mean, right?
Well, see, and what people have to realize is that when you transform, it's a process. Transforming is a process that takes time. It can go fast, it can go slow. It just depends on where you're at and how much bandwidth you can take. Because I'm sure the last couple of days, you with what you've been doing, it's like,
well,
and you're going through that process.
Yeah, and it has been. It's been a journey. But the thing is, I'm like a, and you were great. Just to be, very honest, you're a great source of inspiration for me, because when I came in and I saw what you were doing, I doubled my expectation, right? My standard doubled, right? As soon as I had one conversation,
just from the conversation,
one conversation, I was like,
see how it works?
Just like that. So to your point, it can be really dreary, and it can be a long thing, and it can take a long time, but there's things that we can do, and then there's choices that we can make. I made a choice to come out here. You made a choice to go put that extra work in that day.
Yeah.
And then inadvertently, the universe rewarded us either which way for here we are now, right? We got that extra work in, right? So the thing is, and yes, to your point, it's been fun, man. It's been fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's, to your point, it's like, dude, we're growing and expanding. Like, I don't even know, like, okay, we had the greatest entrepreneur that's ever lived, right? What about right now? We're probably the greatest humans of our age that have ever changed, learned, and developed new skills, right?
100%.
Right? So people our age, and that's the thing. So like, nobody's ever developed and grew at this level before. Never. It wasn't even talked about.
No.
You would get one skill. Your dad would teach you a skill, and you would do that skill until you turned around and taught it to your kids. That's the way life was for hundreds of years before our generation. In our generation now, skills you learned or your dad did are now obsolete.
Correct.
It's happening.
Correct.
Right? So the greatest skill that you can have is the ability to learn. So when you want to be a good father, good leader, good member of your community, the greatest contribution you can make is show your willingness to be pliable and to be coachable and willingness to learn.
Skill set is key. Patrick Bet-David said it best. It used to be you needed to pick up at least one skill set a year to be relevant in your job, okay? In whatever it is that you did. They're now saying that over the course of the next 18 months, in order to be relevant in what you do, you're going to need 15 to 18 new skill sets. Think about it. Think how fast everything is moving. It's just boom, boom, boom.
Well, it's a great thing, man.
It's not technology. Think about technology. There's at least one new skill set of technology we could pick up. I mean, think about when there's a new update on a phone or something and it changes how everyone gets so spun out. That's just a minor little tweak. So imagine if you applied yourself to a point to where, like right now, and the audience doesn't know everything that we have going on behind the scenes, but we're getting into an industry of coaching and training that we're learning a new skill set. Like every day, there's something new.
Well, we're learning how we have the skill of coaching, but we're learning how to convey the message, right? And how to best, like, you're learning how to take what you have and put it on a platform to sell it.
Right.
Really and truly, and to bring value and give it, to give more than you take. Right?
But think about your mind. It's like when I'm going back in time going, oh yeah, I remember when I started a new job or did something new. I remember, you know, how the mind gets a little like bogged down because your capacity is only so limited. And I was telling you, man, last couple of nights, I'm just coming home, literally taking my clothes off, jumping in bed.
Well, you know, and I came in and my wife, me and my wife were having a conversation, and she was like, I said, do you know what it takes? I said, listen, if you ever are forced to understand, I'd always share, my thing is this, is I always share lessons that are maybe like we were talking about how you raise your daughters earlier, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I'm always going to my wife and I'm giving her the blunt, brutal, ugly truth, right? Because in the event of my absence, how can she conduct and move on, right? And survive, right? With somebody with money and means and influence, how can you survive in that world without getting ate up and chewed out and spit out, right? And so we're going in there and we're talking, and, you know, I, like you said, grinding it out and, you know, learning new skills. And I'm like, I got punched in the face here, punch 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 in the face here. I said, do you know what it takes? Like when you go in and see me sitting still, not doing nothing, thinking, and you think I'm doing nothing, do you understand what it takes to go get through that? I said, but let me share the most important lesson in all of everything that I said. I'm not telling you this to feel sorry for me. I'm telling you this so that you can learn that I know the process, right? And the process says the fucking dam is about to break, right? Because when all these things become tedious and exhaustive and hard and ugly,
that's right.
You're like, oh, you know, but it doesn't even feel bad no more, dude. Like when you know the game, and that goes back to that thing. When you know the game, you're just like, it's not necessarily fun to be in that moment, but what is fun is knowing that the moment's coming that you actually did it and got over it, right? You're like, wow, I did it. I'm proud of me, right? I'm proud of me.
It's funny you bring that up about your wife because my wife and I, we have a big office, and so we're in there together. I mean, shit, some guys would be like, how the hell are you with your... I'm with my wife for 22 hours a day, okay? 2 of them, I'm off running around doing my thing, but for the most part, I'm with my wife probably 20 to 24 hours a day. And the other day, I was like, I took my glasses off. I'm like, going, God. She goes, are you all right? I go, yeah. And I looked at her, I go, we're getting real close to a massive breakthrough. And it's like this, like, almost like in the movies where the villain, you know, is like, you know, just some psycho smile. And she goes,
feels so damn good.
She goes, I love you.
No, but, and I'm awesome. I'm really fortunate. My wife is absolutely amazing. I'm really fortunate to have her, right? I mean, listen, I don't care, you know, on the wives topic, right? Like, I know for absolute certain, you know, you're talking about Patrick Bet-David, so I was talking to one of his top guys, and he goes in there and he asked me, he said, Joey, he said, you know, you're almost 50, right? I'm like, well, I'm 48, you know, you're almost 50.
Yeah,
stop.
Like, yeah.
What was the one, what would be the most important piece of life advice that you could give me? Like, and I was like, I said, man, that's a tough one.
You got an hour?
No, like, I was like, well, I can give you one on each topic. And he's like, well, you know, just, if you had to narrow it down to one thing, I was like, the most important decision that you can make, and the single most important decision that you can make in your entire life is who you're going to be with. Because there's nothing you can do. We couldn't do what we do if you don't have an amazing support system, an amazing cheerleader, somebody that believes in you, somebody that demands more of you, somebody that challenges you, somebody that actually you want to be the person that they look to and they're proud of. You want somebody to look at you and be proud, right?
100%.
You know? So that was the point. The point was that was the most important decision. Like, you know, he thought it was going to be like some crazy thing, and he was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
wow.
and listen, like, you know, to the guys and gals that are married out there, like, it's not easy. You know what I mean? My wife and I have been together 35 years, married for 33. We have 2 beautiful daughters. We got a 3rd grandchild on the way. Like, life is, like, amazing, right? And people may look at us and be like, oh, my God, you're so lucky. No, we ate buckets of shit. Like, we almost got divorced. My addiction and alcoholism, you know, losing everything in '08. Like, you want to talk about stress testing a relationship? Like they say, for better or worse. And again, we've been through some really hard things, but now we have the skill set to be able to handle this and be able to communicate, because you have to be able to communicate at a high level and not hold back. And, we used to hold back at the beginning, okay? We used to, well, I don't want to hurt his feelings, or I don't want to piss her off, or whatever the case may be. And this is some paid advice that I'm about to give you guys, okay? When we were talking to a counselor, she goes, where did you guys get your skill set for what it's like to be a husband and wife? My parents. And she's like, my parents? Were they perfect? No. We brought a lot of that into our relationship, thinking that that's what you do as a married couple, and that they got it all wrong. And so we dragged that into our relationship, 16 years into our marriage. Well, thank God we got it figured out, because we're still together. And I think that that's the part where people have to realize that it's work. It's work. And
everything, hey, what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets improved, right? It's the same thing, right? Whatever you give focus to. It's funny, I was, and we can go on about this forever, but I was, last night, I said, I said, I realized, because I've been going, but I spend I spend all my time, extra time with my wife. That's what I prefer to do. That's what I do with my family, whatever. And I said to her, I said, we need to make sure that it's not about we don't want to spend, because we're traveling, I can tell she's getting fatigued. I'm like, it's not about the quantity right now. It's about the quality of the time, right? You know what I mean? And that's
the moments.
It's the moments, right?
It's weird. Like, I heard that a few years back, and it's like, and everyone's heard that, you only have 18 summers with your kid and all this crazy shit. Well,
that is so depressing, man. But it's true.
I look back now going, man, I really missed that. But now I can reflect back and go, oh, there's these moments in time, that you get to savor. It's not, oh, hey, honey, we're putting 2 hours on the calendar for quality time. When you have to force quality time, come on. It needs to be natural. If it's a moment, if it's just sitting there watching a sunset, if it's going for a walk around the block when it's a little cooler out, because it's hot as shit right now in Arizona. But, it's one of those things where it's the moment. Everyone wants to...
Collection of moments, man.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Yeah. And if you look at life like that, oh my God, it's so much more simpler.
It gets a lot easier, right?
All right, let's go to. You want to go down a little bit of the car business?
Absolutely.
So I got in the car business in 1993 when you could still smoke in the sales tower. I remember going out with a Foursquare with a burn mark on my Foursquare. Okay, crazy business, but I am so grateful for it, because it taught me a lot about sales.
Oh, dude, there's nothing better than the car business. Listen, I can't tell. Listen, real estate guy, car guys do it better. Car people do it better. Every single car person that I've ever seen take the skill set and go into other businesses. Look at the influencer space. Look how the car people thrive in there. Just look at the people with the car background, even a glimpse of it, and they thrive, because it's the mentality of, it's the transaction process, right? Like, where else are you going to learn to get comfortable? Like, your 18-year-old kid, I started in 1994.
Okay.
Right? I started in 1994. So you're an 18-year-old kid, or however, I was 18, but you literally go in there, and now all of a sudden you got a 54-year-old guy come in, and you're sitting there talking to him about why he should spend $65,000 with you, and telling him that, the interest rate's really not that big a deal. You can refi. When you're like, how am I talking to a guy 3 times my age, talking to him about when he needs to refi? And I didn't even know the word refi 6 months ago.
Correct.
Right? You know what I mean?
That word track that you just...
Right.
I think it sounds cool when I say it, so I'm just going to say it.
But the car business, listen, the car business gave me all the foundational skills for negotiation, for sales, for communication, for leadership, for development, for compliance, for marketing, right? For putting capital together, how to read financial statements, every single thing. The car business, everything, managing insurance, make warranty, right? Literally, if you look at the reason why car people if you look at entrepreneurs and other businesses, you honestly and truly can unpack their business in a department of your business, right?
Yep.
It's just the truth. There's so many facets of it that, you know, you have to be a badass to operate a car dealership today effectively. It's just the facts. Otherwise, you might as well go ahead and sell it now before you've crashed that thing, and you have to sell it.
Well, and again, you know, everyone gets high on the hog, and they almost it's like back when they were a salesman on the floor, having a $10,000 month. Next thing you know, they're going out buying campers, a new truck. You know, hey, I rented a big house. You know, all this stuff, and now all of a sudden their expenses.
Now they got a
$4,000
3 months in a row.
Oh my!
Now their credit's bad.
God, so I
Now
got.
they're making $15,000 next year. You know,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, so I got a great story for you, and because this will lead us into this next topic. So we got to a point around 2013. So I got out of the car business in 2005. It was probably right around 2013, 14. We were financially, things were weird. My wife was a full-time agent at the time, and I was flipping houses. The market got weird. There was a government shutdown. I had 6 flips on the market. Like, I was like, oh shit, here we go again. 08 all over. I'm going to lose five houses.
Yeah, 08 was trauma, dude.
I mean,
every time you hear anything, you're like, you get them feelings from 08 around.
Right,
like,
that feeling of like, ugh. So we finally sold them. Really didn't make any money on it. And she goes, we got to do something about the money. I'm like, oh. I go, I'll jump on a hand grenade. I'll go back in the car business. Been out of the business since 05. I get a desk manager job. I don't know how the hell I pulled this off. Got back on the desk.
What year was this?
2014.
Oh, so you had all these properties that you own, and you literally went right back into the store.
So
so you were terrified.
Okay, so
you wouldn't have went back in that
listen,
store if you weren't terrified.
So listen. I go back in, and there's like a lot of females that are selling, and you know, just a lot of younger kids, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, you know, younger vibe, you know, I'll get in the flow of this whole thing. And I'll never forget this. This kid let this customer go, and I go, hey Jimmy, come here. Why'd you let that client go? Oh, they're gonna go grab a quick bite to eat. I said, no, it doesn't work that way around here, okay? You need to get with me and let me know. And I got into him a little bit. Next thing you know, the HR department comes over, pulls me aside and says, Dave, this isn't how we conduct business. I didn't even cuss at the kid. I just kind of frazzled him a little bit, letting him know, hey, I'm the new guy on the block. I just want to make sure we take care of our clients and whatnot. It was like, I felt like I was in a coma and woke up, you know, like in the movies, or like, what year is it? Because it changed so much.
Well, you know what's interesting about it? Can I tell you what the biggest? This is the ugly truth. This is the ugly truth of the car business. I'm a grinder. I sell, I train, I coach, I develop people. We take TOs, we count ups. That's the standard, right?
Yeah.
Does it get done all the time? I'm not, you know, I'm sure it doesn't, because there's not like-minded people, but the value is there at the end result. But the interesting piece of the business today is these operations, most of them are only profitable for 2 reasons. Is one, it's because the brand has a good enough draw, and then 2, they're lax on their compliance piece, right? So if you drop adequate compliance on the stores, it really frazzles the whole dealership model. Wow. For what it is. So what they're doing is, so this is my point, is now the conversation has changed to HR, right? Because we want you to grow and develop and become better and take care of our customers the way they deserve. In reality, what they're doing to compensate for that is they're laxing the compliance piece of the business. Compliance meaning advertising, financing, etc., right? So they lax the compliance to pick up for that piece, right? So that's the ugly piece of the business. Because I remember when I started in the car business, and I'm grateful for this. I'm super grateful for the guys. that I worked for some serious guys. And here's the thing. It's not about, you tell the funny side of the story. I think the bigger thing people have to realize, the whole world was different, right? I mean, you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, to your point, like when you said, my first car dealership I owned in 1998 was a used car store. And we used to, I let the salesman, as that cigarette smoking thing was phasing out, I got all the best salespeople because I let them still smoke at their desk, right? Like that was the bonus.
That was the bonus?
That was the bonus. The bonus was come work for me, and you can still smoke at your desk. You hear me, right? And they're like, really? I'm like, yep, and I'll even pay you good. You know?
Wow.
You know? And that's how I would get them. I'd have guys coming in there. I had an ex GSM working for me selling 25, 30 cars a month. And he's like, I'm just not dealing with that shit, man. He's like, I'm just not dealing with it. As long as you pay me, don't mess with my money.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll stay here and sell cars for you. I don't care about a title. He's like, I'm not.
As long as I can smoke at my desk.
And the smoking was a piece of it, but it was just all the other things that came and just changed that came with that, right? You know? So that was really but I remember the guys that started me in the car business, they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, that's fine. They're gonna go home. They're gonna go talk to their wife. And they're like, yeah, that's good. Next time, you let something like that happen, you just follow them home because you ain't never gonna work here again.
See,
right? Like that's it. You know. Oh, that's fine. Oh, you're late for work today. That's fine. I'll tell you what. You're fired, and but I will give you an opportunity to get your job back if you can bring me a car deal, right? And they're like, oh, okay. Can I get it up? No. Go to the bus station. Go drive the bus stations and get me a car deal, and you can have your job back. And guess what? It was a regular occurrence. People actually did it. Because people at bus stops need cars, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? You know?
If you did that to a kid today, what would happen?
I mean, they put you on, 7 news channels, right? You know what I mean, right? They'd go in there, well, and the thing is it would be, but, the reality is what's the self-esteem of the person that you do that to afterwards, right? Who do they become in that journey?
100%.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It's the same thing. It's a difference. I mean,
it's a growing moment. And see, what people think that might be like, oh, you guys are, you're dicks. What? Okay, here's the thing. What if at that point in time you changed the way that person started thinking moving forward? What if they said, you know what? Yeah, I was wrong. Or, you know what? Next time I will show up on work when I'm supposed to. And it creates this accountability thing, and that person grows from it to be able to make some money and provide for their family.
My number one thing, my metric that I use when I talk to somebody is I look at I'm like this. We're sitting down, we're having a conversation. I see what you learned from me so far? Give me 2 years. Spend 2 years with me. Your lifetime earnings will be so many millions more, right? And I'm not talking about for millionaires. I'm talking about for regular people learning these skills, like you're saying, just life skills and mindset. Like, how can I become a beast in my own mind to where we don't go out, oh, it's raining today, I'm not going to go to work, right? No, it's just raining. We're going to put on a raincoat, put on a hat.
The true buyers come out when it rains. Come on, baby.
Right. Right.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Any last things you want to talk about? No, we've talked about a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, we got a little bit, man. I mean, look, there's a million car stories out there. I think the biggest thing is just being, called to a higher purpose, man. That's what it is right now. That's what we're doing, right? We're called to a higher purpose, and I think we're really fortunate in the fact that we get to live it, dude. Like, it's so awesome, right, that we get to do what we're doing right now.
Well, we're going to do this again a year from now. Because we are going to be completely different.
This will be really good.
Okay? Yes, and we'll do a little side-by-side comparison, and I think we'll have some
my goal is to look like you. I'm going to be in here with all my veins coming out.
You got to keep it right and tight, baby. Come on.
Dude, I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to go ahead. I'll probably get some, I was going to say TRT or whatever, PRP or CCC or whatever it is, 99411, right?
Hey, baby, my goal is to take a private jet to Turkey. I'm going to get a mullet. I'm going to bring the mullet back and just get it all done.
Absolutely. So, listen, I got a lot of Turkish friends, so
Perfect.
If you need any, I got a lot of really good Turkish friends. Like, so if you need the whole
I'll get the
lay of the land, you'll get the VIP,
perfect.
VIP treatment, dude. You hear me?
Awesome. Well, Joey, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me, man.
And we'll definitely do this again in a year. Hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. As always, this is Dave Panozzo signing off. Comment below. I'd love to hear some feedback from you. And as always, let's make it a great day. This is the Sales Playbook Podcast. I'm Dave Panozzo. We're going to talk about sales. Sales is something that is very near and dear to me. I got into sales in 1993. And since then, I have learned so much over the years. And sales is something that is a unique trade that a lot of people don't know about. Sales is all ages. As long as you can walk and talk, you can always do sales. Whether you're young, whether you're old, it doesn't matter. Even if you're just starting out, sales is something that makes the world go around. There is no ceiling on how much money you can make in sales, and I want to unlock that on this podcast. So stay tuned.